Hey y'all, and welcome back to another video. So I made this video back in 2024, but we are now about to go into 2026, and I think I've gained a little bit more insight on this. My brain is fully developed. I've grown a lot with my relationship with God, so I think I have even more insight on this. But today we will be talking about deleting social media and just the cons of social media. Of course, there's some benefits. We can talk about it, but I just want to talk to you guys about why I think it could benefit everyone to delete social media. This does not mean you have to delete it forever. Do this, how you see fit, but we're just going to talk about some of the positives that can come with deleting social media. I also think as we're going into this new year and everybody's making plans on bettering themselves, making new goals, whatever that may be, growing deeper with God. I think that, this is a perfect reset, a start to the new year. So like I said, even if you don't want to delete it forever, I think this is a great way to start your year off. Okay, my first reason why you should delete social media in 2026 is probably, one of the main reasons people talk about deleting social media, or a con of social media, is that comparison is literally the thief of joy. And all social media is constant comparison. Whether intentionally or subconsciously, you are always comparing yourselves. When you're on social media, all you're doing is consuming other people's lives and what they have going on, looking at their accomplishments, their goals. And as we know, most people don't tend to share the negatives of what they have going on in their lives. So you're only seeing all the positives, and it starts to make you compare your lives to theirs. So you go on social media and now you start comparing your looks. You start comparing your lifestyle. Even, your relationship with God. Someone may seem like they're so much further on their journey. Everything. Like, it's literally constant comparison. Even being at your age, like, you may be 30 and you're looking at a 22-year-old and they're married and they have a house and all this stuff. But, your life and your path has already been carved out for you. The Lord has, already set the plan for your life. And so it does nothing for you to constantly compare your life to someone else's. The thing about comparison is that it steals your gratitude and it steals your contentment, because now you feel like, oh, because someone else's life looks like this, I'm not good enough, or I'm not in the right place. But you're exactly where you're supposed to be, where God has you, and your journey is your journey. But when you start to look at someone else's life, then you want the things that they want. Even with like relationships, people will compare their relationship to someone else's. And so you see someone online and their partner is doing all this extravagant thing. So now you're like, oh, well, my boyfriend's not doing this. So now, I'm going to get mad at him and I'm going to have an attitude towards him. And it just causes a lot of unnecessary comparison and discontentment in your life, So if you focus on yourself and what you have going on and just being content and grateful for your life, because I promise, if you look back and you see other places that you've been and where you are now, you've come so far. And even if there's places that you're going, God is always pruning you and preparing you for the next chapter. Maybe you would start to go into your next chapter if you would stop consuming someone else's life and focus on your own life. And sometimes, you may not be getting to that next point in your life because you are discontent where you are right now. You are not stewarding properly the things that you have now because you're so worried about what other people have going on. This just goes for so many things, like your fitness goals. We could go on and on and on about comparison. And I truly think that, so many people are walking around unhappy because they're comparing their lives to something that, typically isn't even really real. Most people, like I said, are not telling the full story of what they have going on in their lives. And, even if some people's lives really are what they're chopped up to be, that's not your life. Your life will play out how it's intended to play out. And that's for you. Like, we are all individuals for a reason. But a lot of times that's just this life. Like, you know, it says in the Bible that we are going to suffer in this life. You know, there's always going to be ups and downs. There's always going to be mountaintops and valleys. So, you know, there's always going to be different points in our lives where we might not be exactly where we want to be, but, you know, we are exactly where God wants us to be. And just because I think this ties in good to my first point, when you're on social media, not only are you comparing yourselves, but now you start to live through other people. And so you feel like you're experiencing things because you see people online doing things. You know, you're not going out and experiencing these things for yourselves. And it's like a false reality. You're not truly living life when you're on social media, okay? Like, you have to go out, experience these things, create real relationships, live your own life. You can't be focused on what other people are doing online. And another thing with social media is that it's almost like you trying to prove yourself to people. Like, it's how you want the world to perceive you. And so it's like, an example I always make is like, oh, people don't feel like they really had fun unless they posted it. Like, they need everybody else to know this is what I did. You know, like, you can't go on a trip without your whole social media account knowing you went on a trip. And so I'm not saying it's anything wrong with us sharing and, like, you know, you like your pictures or whatever, you had fun, it's a memory you want to share. But I think truly focusing on your intentions, right? Are you doing this for validation? Because a lot of what social media is people seeking validation from other people. That is a huge chunk of what social media is, seeking validation from others. And so just see, what is your intentions when you're putting these things online? Why do you need other people to see this? What does it do for you for other people to see this? I can't remember, I think it was like Jackie and Megan's, it was one of them. And they were talking about, like, even when people post their little, like, reading the Bible, taking a picture of you reading the Bible, like, did you post that to make other people think you have a strong relationship with God? Do you truly have that relationship? Are you, like, what is your intentions? Are you intending to, like, encourage other people to read their Bible by posting that? And it's just like, you really have to think about those things, you know, because why do you need validations from others? The only person we need validation from is the Lord. Hallelujah. Amen. And your life will be a lot happier when you stop seeking validation from other people and seek it from God. I think another major point is a lot of people don't truly know who they are without social media. I might have talked about this a little bit in my last video, but people start to let social media create their personality. Like, you're always trying to fit an aesthetic. Oh, you don't like this perfume because everybody on TikTok says that perfume doesn't smell good. Even for myself, like, when I was on TikTok still, I remember, like, people started talking down on the Bath and Body Works sprays. And I don't feel like I'm someone who's typically too influenced, like, my opinion by other people. But I remember, like, I stopped buying it because I was like, oh, like, Bath and Body Works is, like, you know, it doesn't even carry the scent that long, or, you know, it's cheap. But then I started buying Sol de Janeiro, and I'm like, this is a $40 spray. Bath and Body Works is like $25. And I think the scent lasts just as long. There was nothing wrong with Bath and Body Works, but you start to let social media dictate your thoughts, your opinions, your life. I think when you're off social media, you get to know who you truly are. Like, do you like that outfit, or do you just like it because everybody on social media is buying that outfit? You know, you have your own style. You're not influenced by other people. You're just being organically you. You're being truly you. Even your own, like, hobbies and things like that. You're doing things that you truly enjoy and not just doing them because it's popular on the internet. I think even with that, like, getting comfortable with yourself, like, if you're constantly consuming and you're online and you're always distracted, are you truly, like, do you truly get to know yourself? Do you truly spend time with yourself? Like, you know, how do you know who you are, what you like, all that, if you're constantly being influenced by other people, if you're constantly consuming what other people are putting out there. And we just see how powerful social media is in influencing people, like influencers and stuff. You start to buy what they tell you is good. I mean, like, down to the smallest things. Social media literally can influence people to do the darndest things, like to pay, I don't even know how much that little Touchland hand sanitizer is, but it's just like, you know, it's cutesy, whatever. But I just think like that's a whole nother topic, overconsumption. But it's always because someone's always influencing you and telling you something's good and making you just consume and consume and consume. But what do you like? What are your interests? But since we just talked about that, we can talk about overconsumption as well, because social media marketing is crazy. And, you know, don't get me wrong, even with like YouTube and influencers, this is how they make their money. But you have to be very careful with being influenced by people who are living a, you know, way wealthier life than you. They have the money, or they're getting sponsored to get these things, and you're coming out of pocket with your own money to probably pay for things you can't afford because you see other people on social media getting that thing, or your favorite influencer, you know, getting that thing. So you just have to be careful, because you don't need every single thing you see on social media, and it gets so much worse. And it just gets so much worse when we have things like TikTok Shop and everything is so accessible. Amazon, you can literally just go over to the next app, click it, and buy it, and it'll be here the next day. And it's like, how much of this stuff do you really even use? Clothes, like, you're constantly buying things because you see other people online buying things. Sis, it's okay to rewear that outfit that you bought. You bought it for a reason. We just have to be very careful with overconsumption. Like, you know, it's nice to have things that you like and, you know, things that find your interest, but do you really like it? Is it worth the money? Do you have the finances to keep buying this stuff? Okay, my next point, well, I'll say kind of two, they tie into each other. But for one, social media is a complete distraction, time waster. You can spend hours scrolling through your phone. Look at your screen time. You can spend hours. This is why, like, I will literally never probably get TikTok back ever, because the amount of time you can spend just scrolling on an app is like scary. Like, just consumption. Like, it is a complete time waster. What could you have done in that 4 hours that could be leading you to your next goal, to becoming the better version of yourself? You know, like, discipline is so important. And my next point was that, tying into this point, is that social media creates laziness. It's such a distraction, and it will make you be lazy. You could have went up and gone to the gym, but you sat on your phone and scrolled for hours. You could have been studying if you have some sort of exam or something that you're studying for. You could have been getting more work done, but you're scrolling on your phone all day. It is such a distraction. Do you even really know what's going on around you? Do you know what's going on in real life? Or are you so distracted by your phone? I remember when I would be on social media a lot, like, and just on my phone, constantly on my phone. And then you look up and it's almost like you feel weird, like looking into your surroundings, because you're like so focused in on your phone. And y'all, social media is literally not even, like, it's a thing, but it literally doesn't exist unless you have it downloaded on your phone. Like, it's not really a tangible thing. You can make tangible money, but it exists through our phones. You can literally delete the app and it does not exist at all. But will you continue to scroll on your phone, sit on your couch, and consume other people's lives while they're monetizing on your consumption? Okay? And I'm not saying you can never watch anything, or I tend to I like YouTube and I like Pinterest. If I, you know, those are the two things that I typically keep on my phone. But I just think there's so much balance. Like, you cannot be constantly consuming. It will make you distracted and it will make you lazy. And going even further into it being a distraction, my next point is it also shortens your attention span. Like, when the times that I have been just like, you know, on my phone and all into my phone, I can't even read a book because I'm like, after I can't even focus on what I'm reading. And I'm like someone who loves to read, but I can't get into it because like my attention span is so short. That's like people can't even get through movies. People can't watch long form content like YouTube because our attention span is so short because of short form platforms like TikTok, where it's just like 30-second videos. You can't even get through the 30-second video. Another thing I would like to add is social media can be very negative, and it oftentimes leads to gossip. You know, we can so easily, like I said, I have to tame my tongue and watch myself. I'm not perfect, but this is another reason I keep my social media deleted, is because it easily leads to gossip. Like you have the tea pages, and a lot of times now you can't even really control what comes on your timeline. You have the tea pages, or you know, you're just talking about people in general, or when you go to comment on a celebrity's page, or you feel like it's not gossip because you don't really know the person, or you know, it's not that serious when if you go and make a comment and gossip about a celebrity or talk negative about someone. So it's very easy to fall into those negative habits when you're on social media because it's not real life interaction. So it's easy for people to get up on the internet and say a lot of stuff or gossip or be negative or be mean, but you'll still be held accountable for your actions. Social media desensitizes you, and you just don't carry that same level of empathy with people because you're not like in person. You're not seeing how these comments may really affect people. And not just that, but even with the things that you see, you know, the Bible tells us that it's important to, you know, guard our eye gates and our ear gates, like what we are consuming. And so it's very important to like watch, you know, what we're consuming online. I mean, it can easily lead to lust, or even we see such harsh things online that it's like we don't carry much compassion or empathy. Like you can easily see children dying on the internet and it just doesn't impact you. You can see people being killed by the police and it just does not, you know, hit in your heart the same because it's so much stuff constantly being put on your timeline. The next thing is that social media takes away from genuine connections with people. I think that oftentimes, you know, like you solely have a relationship with someone or keep up with someone only because you have social media. Like I know who my close friends are and who I value in my life because I'm not on social media, because I know who I still talk to without social media. I know who I will check up on, who will check up on me. Like some people solely reach out to you or talk to you because you're on social media, but like if you weren't there, are you really that valuable to that person's life? And so I think we can benefit so much more from creating genuine relationships and not all these social media relationships. Like if people truly care about you, it does not matter whether you have social media or not. Okay, and the main thing for me, and I really hope this one will resonate with you all, is that one of the main benefits of deleting social media is you will grow closer to Jesus in this time. Like I said, social media is such a distraction. Now, when I don't have social media, I can spend quiet time with the Lord. I can grow in my prayer life. I'm not distracted easily, because even being easily distracted is like, it's hard for you to sit there and pray and really grow deeper with God. It's hard for you to pick up your Bible because you know you're constantly scrolling. And so you can truly grow deeper in your relationship with God. And this helps you grow deeper, one, like the comparison thing. So when you're constantly comparing yourself to someone, you are not in a state of gratitude for what the Lord has done for you and what the Lord is going to do in your life. And you're not submitting your plans to God because you're worried about what other people have going on and you want your life to look like theirs. Like I said, another thing is what you see on social media. It can easily lead into lust because there's so much, hypersexual things on social media, as well as the gossiping. It's like you can tend to talk negatively about people or situations when you're on social media. There is just so many things that lead to sin when you're on social media. And I'm not saying there's no way you can have a healthy relationship with social media or being on social media, because I do think it would benefit you as a Christian to take a step back from social media, because it can become an idol in your life. And you want to make sure you're not putting anything above God. Take time off of social media to truly hear from God. You may feel like you cannot hear God's voice. You don't know which direction he wants you to go. You don't know why certain things are happening in his life. Read his word, for one. Read his word. That is how you can clearly hear from God and get to know the character of God. Read his word. Spend time in prayer. Spend time in prayer and develop deep intimacy with the Lord. And that's how you will continue to grow in your relationship with God. But social media can be a complete distraction from that. Like I said, I'm not telling y'all what to do as far as social media, deactivating your accounts. But if anything, I think you should start with a break from it. I try, for the most part, I keep my social media deleted. I'll have time periods where I choose to get back on. But for me, it benefits me the most when I do not have social media, because I see myself falling back easily into bad habits when I do have social media. And like I said, this is not the case for everyone, but I just tend to be more present. I feel like it has benefited me in so many ways, just on my timeline. But what I think also is another option is if you have some things that you enjoy about social media, create a separate account where you follow positive things like hobbies that you're into, maybe Christian pages, if you're into baking, something that's going to be financial advice, things that are just going to positively influence you, or things like that, or only close family members and friends, where it's not always a negative thing. It might be a positive thing. It might give you some good advice. And then when you're following less people, it's less, okay, you're going to get to a point where there's no longer nothing. You can't keep scrolling. What I would challenge everyone to do is at least take the first week of January off of social media and see how you feel from there. See if you're led to go longer, if it felt refreshing to you, if it encouraged you in any way. I would say take at least 1 week break. And then if you really want to challenge yourself, do the whole month of January and just really dedicate that time to the things that you're trying to accomplish. And you never know where that could lead, because it could lead to 3 months, it could lead to 6 months, it could lead to a year, and you're just social media is not it's all chopped up to be. It is the most anticlimactic thing. Anytime I have gotten off of social media and gotten back on, it's literally the same thing. I'm not saying this is the easiest thing, because I do want to acknowledge that, social media is very, very addicting, or, some people feel loneliness when they're not on social media. But I truly think that this will, benefit you in so many ways, and you will get to know yourself in a whole different way. Okay, y'all, I think I have yapped enough. I think I hit most of my points, but if you guys have any other points you want to make, leave them down in the comments so we can chat about it. But I truly hope going into this new year that you guys will take on this challenge of deleting social media and just see what it can do in your life. And yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Love you so much. Mwah. Oh, and Happy New Year. I pray that you guys have a very positive 2026, and that your life is just filled with many, many blessings. I can't wait for more videos, so make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, because your girl is back. Our lens is fixed, and I'm excited to dive into some different things.